this is so fucking heavy. Shit. Watch the camera. Watch the camera. Yeah, when editing, like, make you look a lot cooler. I can't wait to play this game with my friends. Oh yeah. Hey guys, what's up? It's Chris from the Game Boys, and I'm here to review the Arcade1up TMNT arcade cabinet. And I gotta say right off the bat, this thing just looks awesome. It's got a beautiful shine to it, it's very colorful, and it looks just like the original arcade game did back when arcades were still a thing. April still looks like she jumped right out of a 1980s Sears catalog, and the turtles still look like they've been possessed by Satan. I love it. I really wish it didn't say Nickelodeon on it, but they own the rights now, and that was probably the only way it was gonna get made, so hey, what are you gonna do? It goes for $350, which is kind of a lot considering you can get a Switch for less than that. Let's see what the cost of an actual arcade cabinet is. Holy shit! You know what? Maybe this is actually a pretty good deal. Setting it up isn't the most difficult thing in the world, but I don't think it's as easy as some others are making it out to be. There are a couple of times when I had to read the instructions over and over again in order to make sure I was handling everything right, and even then there were some times when I had to go back a step or two because I messed something up. Overall, it took me about 2 hours, but you gotta understand that I have an IQ below room temperature, so if I can do it, almost anybody can do it. When you first turn the game on, it's like getting punched in the face with pure nostalgia. The TMNT theme from the original arcade game never gets old, and seeing the winners don't use drugs screen at the start of Turtles in Time is both endearing and hilarious, because you know Michelangelo is smoking that spinach. Everything is so smooth and crisp. For games that came out in the late 80s and early 90s, they still look pretty freaking good. The sound is also just as impressive. There's a surprising amount of bass that comes from the speakers, and it doesn't sound tinny or cheap in any way. Every sound effect has a great punch to it, and it really immerses you in the action. This also applies to the music, as it sounds exactly like it did back in the creepy rundown pizza place that your dad took you to every other Saturday while he left you alone to go to a payphone to talk to his new friend Denise. Shoutouts to Umberto's. So far everything's good, however this is a multiplayer beat 'em up. The only way to truly give this cabinet a proper review was to get somebody else to play it with me. And seeing as how I have no friends, I had to resort to other measures. Playing these games with people you paid to hang out with you, friends, is really the way it was meant to be played. Each turtle, of course, has their own weapon and style, making it fun to mix and match between the four of them at any given time. The emulation for the original game is exactly how I remembered it when I played it in the arcades. I never played the arcade version of Turtles in Time, and I'm sure there are some differences between the two versions, but it's been so long since I played the SNES version, I can't remember what they were, so to me it feels like I was playing it the way it was meant to be played.
Oh shit!
Oh!
What?
I wasn't recording that. I didn't know that happened.
I didn't know that happened either.
The joysticks have 8 degrees of movement, and at no point will you die or get hit due to a lack of response from the controls. The feedback feels just right, and while it's not the perfect joystick, it's more than satisfying enough to make you feel as though you're in control of the game, as opposed to the other way around. Unfortunately, it doesn't replicate the feeling of having 2 of the buttons being sticky, and only finding that out after you put the quarter in. Come on guys, I thought this was the real arcade experience. So yeah, the games play great, they control great, they look great, they sound great. Everything was going great. Until this happened.
My joystick keeps going down on its own.
Oh no.
Like, I'm not pressing anything.
They're gonna have to take it apart now.
Fucking exposed one up.
I tried turning it off and on again.
That always works.
I just moved it down slightly. It wasn't until I shifted it down that it started doing it.
Alright, well, fuck, that really sucks. Basically, here's where everything went downhill. Well, it turns out I kind of did get the real arcade experience. Raphael kept moving down, making him completely unplayable. Ralph's not my favorite turtle, but when you have a 4-player arcade machine, you kind of want to be able to access all 4 characters. I went to the internet to see if there was anything I can do, and being the incredible and extremely helpful place that it is, they basically told me, yeah, I'm fucked. Refusing to believe this, I contacted Arcade1up directly, and they told me, yeah, basically I'm fucked. However, they did say they can send me a replacement joystick, and they said it'll be a simple fix. I thought, great! Then I hadn't heard from them for about 3 weeks. I figured that it was because of the disease that shall not be mentioned, and to be fair, they told me straight up, yeah, it was. The joystick was on back order because of the pandemic, and I completely understood. I just don't know why it took so long for them to tell me that, but whatever, not that big a deal. 2 weeks after that, the joystick shows up. Remember when they said it would be easy to replace?
You lie!
So the joystick shows up and I have to take apart the deck. The top 4 screws are simple, but the bottom part of the deck has 9 screws that are harder to get to than the fucking holy grail. I have a drill and a screwdriver, but neither were long enough to reach in there. So I braved the outside world and got another screwdriver. I get the plastic off, then I had to replace the actual joystick. First I have to cut off these zip ties, and they tell you to be very careful while cutting it because you don't want to snip one of the wires, and if you fuck up, you have to order more replacement parts and start the whole process over again. But hey, no pressure. Then came physically removing the old joystick. There were 6 screws that keep the stick in place. On the very last screw, I accidentally stripped the screw. I couldn't get it out of there. It would not budge.
That's what she said.
I tried the rubber band trick, I tried pliers, nothing. So I went out to 2 hardware stores and neither of them had tools that could remove the stripped screw. So I ordered them on Amazon, waited 2 days, and tried that. That didn't work either. Eventually, I just decided I'm going to remove the entire piece of metal by force, and hopefully the screw will come out with it. However, for some reason, the plate is not only screwed, but glued onto the deck. So after trying to force it from the deck using a Phillips head screwdriver, it is removed, but the screw hole is completely fucked up, and there's no way another screw is going to fit back in there. But whatever, that's fine. There's still 5 other screws that could tie the plate back onto the deck. I'm not sure if this is normal practice or not, but the wires were completely tangled around other wires, and the only way I could untangle the old joystick was to snip it off with scissors. This made me even more nervous because again, one wrong snip and the buttons wouldn't be working either, and I had to start this whole process over again, but again, no pressure. I replaced the joystick, screw it in, zip tie the wires, put the deck back on, screw in the top 4 screws, pray I'm screwing in the rest of the screws right because they're so deep down there I can't say for sure whether or not they're correct. Screw the deck back on, replace the joystick, plug it in, and then... Thank fucking Lord. Well, that was fun. Overall, would I recommend this? Sort of. Being a part of one of the last generation of kids to understand what it's like to go to an arcade, I've always wanted one of these in my house, and now I have the opportunity to have one. Whenever somebody comes into my apartment and this is the first thing they see, they automatically want to start playing, and it's a lot of fun to do it with other people. If you live by yourself or you just hate people and don't want their filthy germs near you, you're not going to play it as much as you think you will. Each game lasts about 45 minutes, and it's not as exciting playing it alone as it is with friends. As for the busted joystick, I've heard that it isn't a very common thing, but you have to bear in mind that it is a possibility if you want to pick one up. If you don't mind having to deal with problems like that, and you and your friends really love the Turtles, it is absolutely worth getting, and it's a great centerpiece if you're trying to start a game room. I really like having this cabinet, but after all the problems I had to deal with, I don't think I'm going to get another one for at least a little while. But damn, that NBA Jam cabinet looks awesome. Overall, I give the TMNT Arcade1Up cabinet 598 cheese pizzas out of 365 external hard drives.
Don't you guys think about anything but pizza?
Not unless we have to.